vegan diet is.
No, I don't know what
they're
a trendy
actually going to be
vegan diet is.
1.2 inches shorter on average.
It's shorter on average. Hello and welcome to Good Vegan Family. My name's Adam.
I'm Daniela.
And in this video we are doing a sort of
just a bit of a discussion
about this study that we saw come out, and I think we have a duty of care to talk about it.
Wow, especially with our YouTube channel about normalising vegan families.
Yeah, so let's scroll over to it. So this is, unfortunately I can't turn the adverts off. I tried blocking them, but it says I can't access the website unless I have my ad paused. So this is the study, and it is titled "Children on Trendy Vegan Diets Are 1.2 inches shorter on average."
Shorter in capital letters.
Shorter! With smaller and weaker bones, study warns.
Yeah, and the thing is, this is the Daily Mail. So they make, they always put, vegan and stuff like this. They emphasize on the word vegan usually in these studies. It's not just a study that actually says, hey, vegan children are actually at less risk of cardiovascular disease, but they have gone on trendy vegan diet. I'm not sure what trendy vegan diet is.
No, I don't know
but
what a trendy
they're actually going to be
vegan diet
1.2 inches shorter on average.
It's shorter on average with smaller and weaker bones. Is this going to tell us anything that we don't already know?
Actually, there's a few interesting things in this that I just want to point out as we go through, which is why I thought we'd raise it.
So the study involved 187 healthy 5 to 10-year-olds, including 52 vegans. Vegan children on average 1.2 inches shorter and had 1 to 6% lower bone mineral content. They were also 3 times more likely to be deficient in vitamin B12 than omnivores.
So firstly, this study was conducted by the Great Ormond Street in the UK. However, the actual children that were used for this study were in Poland. Which I thought was really interesting.
So we
and
did
the
a bit
second thing is that I found this study was funded by a unknown donor.
National Farmers Union.
We think. who it actually says had nothing to do with the study.
No.
So
yeah.
I'm not really interested in what they have
We did
to
a little
say.
bit of digging, but in Poland they don't fortify their foods as much as we
not
do
like
over here. So that's another variable to put into the statistical jumble that is this study. Here it is. New study looked at 10-year-olds in Poland.
Yeah, there you go.
So 63 of them were vegetarians, 52 were vegans, and 72 were omnivorous. Children on vegan diets were on average 3 centimetres shorter. They also had 4 to 6% more bone. Yeah, we've already discussed that. And B12.
But it does actually state that NHS, if we go over to NHS, it actually says that all children should be supplemented. Not just vegan children, but all children should be supplemented vitamin D, B12,
So right here towards, I'd say, we're not in towards the bottom, but it says some good things. However, on the positive side,
right at the end,
vegan children were 25% lower levels of bad LDL and lower levels of body fat.
And we all know that, even children as young as our son, who's 3.5, can already have cholesterol. One of the studies that I actually found during looking through this has already said this.
Hang on, what? I need to know. Vegan diet. What is a vegan diet, Daily Mail? Tell me, because I will wait a very long time for you to come out and tell me, because there are so many different, variations to a plant-based diet.
Yes, there is.
That we could go into. You know, on the other hand, lower intakes of protein. Well, what you on about? You know, seitan is like pretty much. Is it like 98% protein?
I think it's about 80.
80% protein. So, you know, my little seitan steak, or am I even allowed to call it a steak anymore?
Slab.
Yeah, slab. I'll just call it a seitan slab. Probably contains more protein, you know, than your average dead corpse. Calcium, I get enough of that through all my foods because they all contain calcium. Vitamin B12, we supplement that. We're not stupid.
But then a lot of the people, you know, today who are not vegan end up having to have injections for B12 because, you know, they never got enough of it throughout their life.
And, you know, on positive, this past week, vitamin D, well, my skin is absolutely red raw.
Looks like a tomato.
I think I've overdosed in vitamin D. But on the less sunnier days during the winter, we make sure our child and ourselves are supplemented with vitamin D.
Because we'd rather take a supplement than contribute towards animal abuse.
That's exactly it. Well, I'd rather that than eat cornflakes with sheep's wool in.
We were initially surprised by the poor cardiovascular health profile of the vegetarian children.
Because they stick cheese in everything.
Yes, exactly. My health pre-whole food plant-based
was awful.
It's awful, actually, yeah. Insulin pump, diabetic retinopathy, high cholesterol, you name it. I've always been vegetarian. Really bad. But now, it's all gone. Let's go over to the actual study.
Okay, yeah, because this is absolute trollop. So let's go over to the actual study. Here it is.
So look at the difference in the title. Growth, body composition, cardiovascular and nutritional risk of 5 to 10-year-old children consuming vegetarian, vegan or omnivore diets.
Let's cherry pick things for the Daily
vegan.
Mail.
So the background of this was that plant-based diets are increasingly recommended for human and planetary health. However, comprehensive evidence on the health effects of plant-based diets in children remains incomplete, particularly in vegans. Probably because, you know, lots of parents haven't really gone through the studies.
Can I just stop a second?
Yeah, of course you can.
This on Facebook caused a massive stir within the Polish community, didn't it? Because there's so many Polish vegans on there going, my son is vegan since birth and he's 6'4" and he's got bigger bones than me. You know, it was causing a right stir. And, you know, our child, Jack, he's like up to my waist now and he's only like...
He's 3.5. He's so tall.
He's really tall.
He's a bit
really
of a beast,
intelligent.
Actually.
He is.
But
and
remember when we interviewed a born vegan?
A born vegan. And he was an
Hairy
absolute
kid.
machine.
He was a beast of a man.
He's a machine. Absolute machine of a man.
Yeah, and he'd been born vegan and his parents were vegan. And yeah, it's...
So I really can't wait for the further studies to go ahead to say that this study, funded by private donors, is absolute...
Anyway, let's have a look at it. So here we go. The methods in a cross-sectional study, Polish children. So Great Ormond Street Hospital in London have done a study in Poland. Why not over here? That's what I can't understand.
You know, that isn't a very good average as well.
No, it's not really. However, they were aged between 5 to 10 years old, and there was only 52 vegans.
You know, if you'd have matched the omnivorous to 72 to 72. You know, the average height might have increased.
Yeah. So, conclusions. The plant-based diets were associated with a healthier cardiovascular risk profile, but also with increased risk of nutritional deficiencies and lower body mass and height. And vegetarians showed less pronounced nutritional deficiencies, but unexpectedly a less favourable cardiometabolic risk profile. Further research may be needed to maximise the benefits of plant-based diets in children. So there you go.
Well, basically the whole study just pointed at the thing of you need to make sure that you get vitamin B12, good sources of protein, and make sure you get your vitamin D, which, you know, is what we already know.
So obviously, you know...
Yeah, and also vitamin K now, because that's the new thing.
Yeah, more people
which wasn't mentioned in here.
No, it might be, but we haven't seen it yet. So they've mentioned planet sustainability, improving health, including Oh yeah, they've mentioned animal welfare there as well.
That's good.
Although our study is cross-sectional, the exposure tracks back into the past. The children recruited to the study had to have followed their respective diets for at least 1 year. Okay, so they were making sure that they'd been, wasn't just a new thing.
Did it even, take into the account of the heights of the parents?
I don't actually know.
Probably didn't.
I'm going to have a look. So we're not going to spend too much time going through this because you can have a look at it yourself. And there is lots of other references for other studies which have been done before. There's one in Germany that actually says, a vegan diet, a plant-based diet, is actually suitable for all stages of life. So you can easily find that. Okay, so this was a study that really wanted to grab the attention of the vegan and vegetarian parents. So it would make sense, wouldn't it, if this was the study for a donor to potentially already have some interest in this vegan and vegetarian society. So it could very well be one of these big exploitive industries. Following family data were collected before enrolment via an electronic questionnaire, child's date of birth, parent reported weight and height.
Oh, all stuff that you can go and read with the link below.
Yes, you can. So it's going through all the information and how they did it. I don't really want to see that because you can look at that yourself. So, discussion. We recruited 3 groups of children consuming varying amounts of animal source foods reflected in contrasting macro and micronutrient intakes. We found differences in several outcomes in vegetarians and vegans relative to omnivores. Vegan children had more favourable values for several cardiometabolic risk factors and lower fat mass. So vegans already know that they should supplement for B12 because animals are supplemented the B12 as well. So we cut out the middleman and we just take a supplement.
Yeah, it says our study adds new data for both vegan and vegetarian children demonstrating inadequate B12 status
in unsupplemented diets. So these children were unsupplemented, which is really silly, really, because
better concentrations in fortified diets.
It's so easy to get supplements into your children anyway. We should all be doing it.
Well, yeah, all omnivorous diets are already supplemented. It's the vegan diets that are like coming out now, and the products that are coming out now, especially maybe in Poland, that are not supplemented.
Well, we don't know. A lot of the stuff over here has already got B12 added in. You know, we sprinkle nutritional yeast flakes on a lot of our foods, but we also just take a supplement. So here it says, look, this study was supported by a single private donor. This individual had no role in the design and conduct of the study, collection, management, analysis, interpretation, blah, 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 blah. We speculate that protein quality in vegans might have contributed to the BMC findings, but further work is merited. So they're saying they need to do more work. So perhaps pick a group of children that are being supplemented, perhaps in the UK next time. In additional research and replication of our findings using longitudinal studies are desirable. So they're saying they want to do more studies,
this
which
study
that's
at the
good.
moment is flawed.
Yeah, there's a lot of flaws here.
Yeah.
So what this should be is that vegan children are less at risk of cholesterol and cardiovascular disease. But the Daily Mail have emphasised this big thing that children on trendy vegan diets are 1.2 inches shorter on average.
Shorter!
But they haven't said this.
But they've said that their study is pretty much flawed because of several different things that didn't...
And that these children weren't supplemented.
Exactly.
Which...
Lots of variables that really should have been there to make it more accurate.
Even before we went vegan, Jack still took supplements because that is the recommended advice from the NHS.
Yep.
For all children from birth.
Yeah.
So we just thought we'd bring that to your attention.
So if anyone was ever concerned about this absolute load of rubbish in the Daily Mail. Just make sure you're eating a nice whole food plant-based diet.
Well, to save you the stress of having to find out what you should be eating, we'll pop a link down below from plant-based health professionals in the UK who have already provided all the information that you need, and they've actually already examined this study as well, and also said similar things, that the children were not supplemented.
Exactly.
So we'll give you the information on where you can get that from.
Yeah, so make sure you eat your greens.
You supplement yourselves and your kids.
And you will not be 1.2 inches shorter. And that's us.
Yes.
Peace.